Welcome to the VCM, or Vertical Comic Maker, tutorial. To get started, let's open the application. Once the program is running, the first step is to load our pages. It is recommended to have them in an acceptable resolution beforehand to avoid overloading your computer. But that's up to you. As you can see on this first page, we chose a Dark Cat comic from UMC Comics. You might notice that the gutters on this page aren't very well defined. Because of this, the auto selection tool will struggle and won't recognize the panels one by one. Therefore, we select the box tool and manually mark the images we want VCM to crop. As you can tell, the automatic selection tool is magic, but it doesn't perform miracles. Due to technical limitations, it won't recognize every panel when the gutters aren't well defined, or when the art blends between panels. In those cases, the system might get confused and grab one or several panels together. That's why we developed different manual selection options. This allows you to better optimize your workflow in any situation. Once the selection for our first page is done, we confirm and move on to the second. This time, we can see that the gutters are much better defined, with the white color contrasting completely with each panel. Remember that with the box tool, you can edit shapes in any way you can imagine from a single point. You can also hold down the Shift key to maintain the geometric proportions. There's also the circular selection option, which works exactly the same way. Personally, I used to do this with regular editing software. I had to be cutting and pasting panels one by one into different windows of the editor, which took way too much time. Here we can use the automatic tool and watch how it selects all the separate panels on its own. This saves us a ton of time. Here you can see that the speech bubble extends beyond the panel, creating an extra panel. In this case, you can simply right-click to delete the panel and use the editing tool to reposition the box correctly. As you'll see, once corrected, VCM also automatically reorders the panels. For our next page, we'll go straight to using the manual tool to keep moving forward. Look how easily and quickly we already have almost the entire page ready. On the following page, you'll see that the panels have much more irregular sizes. If we choose automatic selection, we'll see it barely recognizes one frame. But don't worry. We can use the free lasso tool and make the cuts manually to fit whatever shape the drawing has. And if you make a mistake when confirming, don't sweat it. In the right column of the program, you'll have all your previous pages available to redo the cuts. Nothing is final. Everything is completely editable. We're continuing with the loop. We're closing the different points that give it its shape. Let's make a little correction here, to make it neater. Perfect. We're almost done. We've now selected 5 pages for this tutorial. It was a pretty fast and agile process, and we already have all the crops ready on the final canvas. If you modify any crop here, the rest will adjust automatically. By default, the images arrange themselves in a cascade and don't overlap. But if you need to layer them, you have the first button on the top left of each panel to unlock it and move it freely around our canvas. The second button fits the panel to the maximum width of the canvas. And the third button centers the cropped panel. While we arrange the rest of the panels, notice how smooth the drag and drop system is. Spacing is crucial in vertical comics. You can leave larger gaps between panels to indicate the passage of time, or bring them closer together during fast-paced action scenes. VCM gives you total freedom to control the reader's pacing. Once you get familiar with VCM's tools, your workflow will speed up incredibly fast. By default, VCM already includes standard sizes for Webtoon, Tapas, or Instagram. Another thing, on the bottom right of the crops, in that little blue square, you have the option to scale the image up or down. And if you have an extra blank page on the canvas, you can easily delete it. Plus, right-clicking anywhere will open a drop-down menu with quick shortcuts to these same tools. As we arrange these frames, keep in mind the unique power of the vertical scroll. In traditional printed comics, readers can see the entire page at a glance. But here, you can control exactly what they see and when they see it. By playing with the distance and spacing between panels, you can build tension, create dramatic reveals, or just give the reader a moment to breathe. We continue using the fit to width and center options to add the finishing touches to our project. To be honest, this tool was born out of my own personal need. I needed to be able to adapt my physical comics to the Webtoon format with a fast export workflow. It's ideal for taking a traditional comic and porting it to mobile formats, adapting to new reading trends. Remember that most of your audience will be reading on their mobile phones. Taking a moment to check that your panels fill the screen comfortably and that the text remains legible is a great practice. VCM takes all the complex math out of this, letting you focus entirely on the creative layout. Another key feature is changing the background color of the pages, so you can blend them better with the panels. In the right column, you can select pages one by one, or hold down the Shift or Command key to apply the same color to several pages at once, even if they aren't consecutive. Everything can be modified, and you can even use Ctrl-Z to undo mistakes or accidental actions. Choosing the right background color can completely change the atmosphere of your chapter. Instead of settling for a plain white or black gap between panels, picking a color that matches the scene's lighting can make the reading experience much more immersive. You can easily switch between moods by changing the background color on specific pages, helping the reader visually transition to a new location. Once finished, you can save your project to continue working on it later. And when you're ready, all that's left is to export it as a JPG or PNG. The software will export it in the size and format you've set up. Before exporting the final images, it is highly recommended to save your VCM project. This creates a lightweight file that remembers all your custom cuts, panel positions, and background colors. If you ever need to fix a mistake, reframe a panel, or simply continue working later, you can pick up exactly where you left off. Now, we are finally ready to export our chapter. You can export your pages as either JPG or PNG. For this example, we will choose JPG. Simply select your destination. I always recommend creating a brand new folder on your desktop to keep your files organized. Once we click Save, VCM will do the heavy lifting, processing the entire canvas and slicing it into perfectly optimized images for mobile reading. Let's take a quick look at our exported files in the folder. As you can see, VCM has generated high-quality images, all perfectly cropped, sequentially numbered, and optimized to meet Webtoon's strict file limits. Finally, we head over to the Webtoon website. We open a new episode, import the pages exported by VCM, and that's it. They are published. I hope you find this tool highly useful and that it helps you adapt your comics to the vertical format. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, feel free to leave them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.